over a week has gone by since I've reported the truth about what's going on in SFWA. And the woke crazies in science fiction, the people in SFWA, the only ones left at this point, are big mad. They're big mad at me for reporting on it. They're big mad at what's going on and the way it's handled. And instead of just being like, hey, JDA did a great job reporting on this, they're trying to cancel me. And now this guy, Jason Sanford, who's one of them, he's a pencil head. He actually made his mark on things by trying to cancel Baen Books for just not bowing to the woke mob. That's the only reason he exists. That's the only clout he's got. He's just selling short fiction based on that and never going to be a real professional writer. And so he's basically come out with a big long post saying exactly what I said a week ago. And they're all clapping for him while jeering at me for reporting the same thing. It's really weird. But this is a great example of just how hypocritical the woke are and why they shoot themselves in the foot. They demand answers for all this stuff, for whether it's the Neil Gaiman controversy that's going on continually, whether it's what's going on with SFWA, whether it's Worldcon's problems. But when I report on it, they actually get madder at me for reporting on it than they are at the actual problems within the organizations and all of that. And so when normal people see this, and mark my word, none of these people in SFWA are normal people. They're all complete weirdos. They turn on SFWA. Nobody wants to join SFWA who's like an author who actually makes any money at this point. It's all wannabes. It's all fakers like Jason Sanford. And that's all that's left. And it's because of the way they treat authors who are actually successful and do the real work. There's a reason I'm the most trusted name in science fiction fandom, a #1 best-selling science fiction author, doing better than anybody in these little petty club circles for clout. And it's because I tell the truth, and it's because I write great science fiction like you used to get before they changed things, before all these people just wrote about identity politics over and over again. I wrote a gorgeous space opera. It's a trilogy. It starts right here. It's called The Stars Entwined in the Eurasian War. This is a great read for your weekend. If you love like Babylon 5, if you love Lois Bujold's Vorkosigan saga from back in the 80s, I'm bringing it back. If you love Paul Anderson's Ensign Flandry series, you're going to love my work. And this is something that I hope you'll check out. It's in the description below. The entire trilogy is available in ebook, print, and audio. Please grab this today. Thank you guys so much for supporting our books and making this happen. I am actually about 40% done with the first book in a sequel trilogy to this, which is just going to blow your mind. I'm replacing Star Trek with this one. It's going to be amazing. So check this out. Get started reading here. This full trilogy, it does wrap up. It's really great. And thank you guys for all the support so far. So, he goes off, and if you don't know what happened with the SFWA situation, their president quit. A week later, the president who got replaced there quit. Several of the staff quit. Several of the board members quit over the last year. And it's because these people are insufferable, and there's the organization really doesn't do anything other than hold an awards conference where they give themselves awards. So after a while, these people burn out because they're doing too much volunteer work for no purpose other than like this like clout structure in an online forum. It's a private forum, which I have access to, which is fun. They get really mad about that too. So this happened, and what happened through this whole situation, why the president resigned, is the club's about to like really implode. I think there's like less than 1,000 members at this point of fake science fiction writers, and gosh, I guess I should describe what this is for most of the viewers. It's the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers Association, and it's meant to be like a union for writers to like help with contracts and things like that, which don't matter anymore because everybody just self-publishes who makes any money at this point. And so it's just it's a dead organization from a different time. Used to do really good work, 30, 40 years ago, and has slowly like descended into irrelevancy. And so they hired an employee who was disabled, requested like some changes be made to whatever for ADA, and got completely ignored. Now, this is a bad deal. ADA is a huge deal. If this employee ends up suing them, which it sounds like they were on that path, this is a millions of dollars situation, and this can sink an entire organization. And so I'm sure Jeffy Kennedy didn't want to deal with that, just was like, I'm out. And then the lady afterwards didn't want to deal with that. I'm out. And that's kind of what happened. These people got into these positions, got voted in from the board. It's like a high school. president situation where it's like a popularity contest, but among like the dorks and weirdos. And that's exactly what you got here. So they made a bunch of people sign NDAs about stuff going on, making it sound like there's even more shady stuff going on. They were trying to give money to like some weird publisher to like put a Ukraine anthology out. It all reeks of money laundering and weird stuff for me. I don't know, but I would love to be able to dig into their finances for real. There's weird legal fees on their public reporting. Like 2022 had $45,000 in legal fees. You just wonder what's going on over there. Absolutely crazy. So this is interesting. This is where he gets in it. Growing pains raise questions about SFWA's leadership model. And so a recurring point, it's not the same organization as a decade ago. Yeah, no way. And it's growing pains within the organization. It said that there's a growth a decade ago from 1,200 to 2,500 a day. And I don't know if those are paying members. I don't know what the deal is with that. Like I said, I'm guessing there's probably 1,000 active members who actually do things. They have lifetime memberships that they used to have, so they probably still count those people in those totals. And a lot of those people have just checked out of the organization. From what I've been reading, people are canceling their SFWA memberships left and right because the organization just doesn't do anything and they don't see the point. It just seems to be this weird clout thing with infighting all the time. But they get about $100 a year out of these people. So if that's the case, I mean, the memberships are looking at $250,000 a year. But I don't know how many of that counts this or counts the people who've just noped out of this. Jason Sanford doesn't provide the data on that. He just says it. So this is pretty interesting. The main problem SFWA facing is the same problem every volunteer organization, siloing and burnout. You solve both of those problems with management that communicates and delegates. But the problem is these people that get elected do so just for their own clout structures, and they don't actually want to do any work. And that's what I've seen over and over again. The first time I was in office, we had a problem with our executive director who was loved but consolidated power as a way of solving problems. We had to let her go. Then they hired Kate, I don't know who that is, who solved many of our problems. When I came back in office, I was concerned because I again saw some of the red flags I'd seen with the previous executive director, including not delegating work. Oof. So this is pretty interesting. So Kowal doesn't like what Kate Baker ended up doing, it sounds like. She said she was phenomenal, good at catching balls dropped by other people, but on the flip side, she's not good at releasing that work to staff and volunteers. Interesting. Jeffy Kennedy said she had tremendous faith on her, but Jeffy Kennedy obviously didn't even have enough faith in herself to run the company. So, it's a ridiculous thing right here. The new guy says that I don't see that as the biggest problem. It's a much bigger problem to make sure the people we hire are not immediately burned out. We need to make sure they feel empowered. Oh, empowered. So what are the solutions? People mentioned many SFWA successes, including advocacy work for the Disney Must Pay campaign, GriefCom, Writer Beware, the organization's long-running emergency medical fund health insurance, and the Nebula Awards. That's the awards they give to themselves. SFWA matters because as writers, we tend to separate, working in our own houses, not connecting with the rest of the world. SFWA gives us not only that connection to each other, but also a way to say, I'm at a point in my career where I want to help other writers. You can do that without an organization. There's online Facebook groups, or we got a Discord where we got a lot of writers in there. They ask me questions. I try to help them as best I can. It's ridiculous. And so it is a social club, and it has no purpose anymore, really. And that's really what they're fighting, as people don't want to volunteer for something that doesn't actually help book sales or anything like that in this juncture. So they must immediately deal with Tara May's severance package. This is the lady who was yeeted because of her disabilities. How SFWA treats its staff is a big indication of how they treat everyone. They must empower staff and engineers and volunteers to make decisions on their own. They must create a long-term change to ensure the organization has an overall sense of transparency. They must ensure better communications between officers and staff. They must terminate the overly broad NDAs, and they should examine how other nonprofits manage their work and staff. Now, that's very interesting, but Jason Sanford, again, just doesn't say what SFWA was actually doing for anybody. What's it actually doing for their members? I really couldn't understand being a member at this juncture because, like, it really is just nothing done for anybody. They're not going to help your book sales. They're not going to help you network and get anywhere. It seems pointless as a professional writer to be a part of this. But like I said, they're more concerned now about just attacking me than going off on anything else there. This guy says one of his videos, File 770 is a hate publication. Talk about torpedoing your own ship. Oh my gosh. I don't know. File 770 gets about 10,000 views a month, and my channel here gets about 1 million, Eric Hildeman. So good try. This person's mad. This is a sampling of what John Delarose had done prior to 2018, trying to cancel my Fandom Pulse news organization because they don't like me. Oh my gosh. This is about John Delarose. His presence on YouTube is the reason I don't look for responses to the Neil Gaiman scandal there. Now remember, because I cover the Neil Gaiman situation, I'm the only person who does, even though they complain loudly that nobody else will. It's bad that I cover it because it's me. You'd think it's worse than what Neil Gaiman actually did. And there's another accuser possibly coming forward very, very soon. There's a tertiary response. We'll cover that tomorrow. And this is where it starts. So this Kate Hartfield, got the entire SFWA group reposting this. This is an extremely niche science fiction fantasy PSA. But if you see something called Fandom Pulse, that's me. It is. And so they're telling them not to read it just because I'm reporting the truth and they don't want it seen. And so even though I was the only person reporting on the SFWA stuff, it took a week for Jason Sanford to write basically what I already wrote a week ago. So if you followed me, you already knew what was happening within SFWA. They didn't want that information out there because it came from me. And this is how petty and just political and evil these people are. The whole SFWA board got on here retweeting this. I mean, it's insane. These people are out there. That chud still exists. This Alistair Stewart is a SFWA board member. That effing guy. You see how he talks about a fellow science fiction professional? Why would you want to be in an organization of science fiction writing professionals when the science fiction writing when the board members talk about other professionals like this? I mean, this is just this is bad behavior. Adults shouldn't act like this. This is childish. Alistair Stewart should be removed and censured from the board for doing something like this. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Pretty crazy stuff. So Aliette de Bodard is a serial winner of their awards. You can see her writing prowess here. Arg. Would love to see the guy off this site. Geez. And then pretty crazy. Paul Weimer, who just won the Hugo Award. You can tell his writing prowess. Ugh. Mike Brooks, the woke Warhammer 40K writer. Gotcha. My gosh. Thanks for the warning. And you can see all these people are just so mad. This person's from Locust Magazine. F that guy. Thank you. You can see how unprofessional these, quote, professional writers are the entire time. Grown, another Hugo Award-winning writer right here. Just absolutely astounding writing capabilities. And so, yeah, this is kind of wild. But as you go into all the reposts, it's the usual suspects. Like you got Ann Leckie on here, Kat Rambo, who used to be president of SFWA, retweeting all this stuff. It's all about just trying to destroy somebody. And when your organization is supposed to represent science fiction writers and professional science fiction writers, acting like this is a large point of why you're treated like a joke at this point, because you don't actually provide any service to anybody at this juncture. It's clearly just a high school Mean Girls clout structure. These are clout goblins. They just chase each other and then get nowhere as writers, and they're absolutely bitter that we're such a success. I guarantee you I outsell and outmake every single person on this thread, which is really funny. And I couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. It just goes to show that, you tell the truth. You report the news. You write well. You give audiences what they want, and you win. You just don't back down to these people. There's some social pressure involved. It doesn't matter. And they're circling the drain like I've never seen before. Big mad. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my Stars Entwined Space Opera trilogy on Amazon. This is classic science fiction like you'll absolutely love, and I can't wait to bring you the new book. It's my best work, I think, and I'm super, super, super excited. It'll be coming soon. I kind of want to put out a full trilogy or write it before I actually release it, just because I don't like to make people wait between installments. I think that's a good way to be. George R.R. Martin. And thank you guys for the tremendous support. This is in the description below. Please hit the like and subscribe, as I said. Leave a comment. We'll be back soon.